And the first response I got from a statewide candidate to come speak at this event was Linda Chavez Thompson. And she said she wouldn't miss coming to Amarillo to talk to Democrats for the world. So a lot's been said about her, so she's been working the crowd, introducing herself, so let's get her up here and give her a good West Texas welcome.
How y'all doing? I heard there were a bunch of Democrats in the house. I said I heard there were some Democrats in the house. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Did I take this off? Okay. I kind of move around when I talk. And I kind of use my hands. If you tie my hands, I couldn't say one damn. I've been asked to be here. And I'm telling you that the little bit of conversations that I've had with some of you is exciting, because you being here this afternoon shows a very strong commitment as Democrats. And I thank you for the invitation. Jim, thank you for doing the job that needs to be done in this county. And thank you. Where's the chairman? Where'd he go? Where's Franklin? What did they do with Franklin the donkey? Yeah, he stepped on my toes too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the work that all of you do here, and for all of you here that are from the surrounding counties, thank you so much. Let me tell you why I'm here, and let me tell you what I need you to do. I am here, okay, I said I would behave myself, so let me see how I can phrase this, okay? I am here to get you ticked off, okay? The other word just doesn't sound too nice. I'm here to get you angry. I'm here to get you to invest in making sure that you get your counties to come out and vote Democrat. When I was asked to run for this position about 8 months ago, when I retired and left the AFL-CIO in 2007, I thought, hey, time to take it easy, grow a garden, raise my dog, or maybe my dog raised me. I'm trying to figure that one out yet. You know how pets are, okay? And so I decided that I was going to grow my flower garden, you know, sod my grass, do whatever it took to take life easy. But when you've been an activist all of your life, it gets you in your blood, and it never leaves you. So I started seeing that my hometown of San Antonio, Texas, my adopted hometown, wasn't quite where it needed to be on labor issues. So I started helping out a couple of days a week. Then they asked me if I would be allowed to have the Commissioners Court appoint me to the Transit Authority Board, because there had been no union representative there for a long time. So I said, yeah, one meeting a month. Well, it ended up being 5 or 6 meetings a month. And then the council, I ended up being the senior advisor. And then there was a guy who ran for mayor, so I helped get him elected. And then the next thing I know, it's like every single day I'm out there doing something. So the flowers started to wilt. The dog started to not like me too much. Now my dog doesn't like me at all, because I am not home at all. So when they asked me to run for office, I was waiting for somebody else to do it. You know how you never think you're the person that has to do this, but you're looking behind you to see, will somebody do something about this? I came back to Texas, and it was not the same Texas that I left in 1995. I was gone for 12 years. During those 12 years, I worked hard. I worked hard to build people's salaries up, to build up their benefits, to make sure that rights were protected, whether they were civil rights, human rights, workers' rights, LGBT rights, whatever rights, anything that discriminates against people. I fought for those rights for 12 years in Washington, D.C. So when I came back to Texas, and I started seeing the headlines, and I started seeing the attitude, and I started saying, what the hell has happened to the state of Texas that I thought was the greatest state in the whole country. Well, hell, after 16 years of Republicans, it's gone down the drain. It has gone down the drain. We don't have leadership in Austin, Texas that is meeting the needs of the people that are in this park today. You got that right, whoever that was. I am agreeing with you. I don't know what you said, but I agree with you. Amen. Oh, amen. Yes, ma'am. Amen. But let me tell you something. When I saw it, I was waiting for somebody else to do something about it. I was waiting for that leader to show up and take matters into their own hands and do something. And guess what? They came knocking on my door and said, Linda, we want you to be that person. After I laughed out loud and said, you gotta be crazy, and they weren't laughing, and I said, you really mean this, don't you? And they said, Linda, you've got the union base. You've got union members all over this country to believe in the things that you did. So people in Texas know you, and you've got the union base. You've got women who think it's about time women ran for state office. Okay? Is that just the women clapping, or a few of my brothers clapping as well? Woo! Thank you. And they said, and you know what? You happen to have a Z after your last name, so Latinos are going to vote for you. And they have. And they have embraced me, and I have had probably the most grueling 8 months of my life. Now, I've never run for public office. And I said, I will do this, but here are the conditions. I have to have the support that is needed to make this race. On March the 2nd, I won with 54% of the vote in the state of Texas, having never run for office in my life. That's not bad. It took me a week to get my campaign up and going. Took me 7 weeks to try to raise money to get my message out. And I did. I did the best that I could, and I won. And I won against a man who was very well known in Texas, and who is a personal hero of mine because he's the one that helped take out Tom DeLay, okay? Yeah. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of that. So why am I running? You know, why am I giving up my retirement life? And by the way, the 2.5 years that I was retired, I'd gotten an attitude. And I'm going to tell you what that attitude was. All my life, even the 40 years I spent in the labor movement, picking on other people, I had to be very careful about what I said, who I offended, you know, how I went around getting some things done. But when I retired, I felt like I was in the most powerful position of my life. I was retired, I didn't have a boss, and I didn't give a hoot. And I really meant another word, but I can't say that today. So I felt, hey, I can say, I can do, I can be anything I want to, and if they don't like it, tough. So I had a lot of fun during those 2.5 years. But as I said, why did I run? What made me think that a 5 foot tall, or pint size as some people call me, woman, with a pretty loud voice. You haven't heard my voice yet until you get me in front of a group of people, and then I really go to town. Why am I running for office? Abel Bosquez has said it so well. And let me tell you something. This is a man that you need in the House of Representatives in Austin, Texas. He is your kind of person, and I'll tell you why. He knows what it is to fight. He knows what it is to be right about the issues that affect people in this part of the state. And he would ably represent you. But better yet, he could be one of those 3 votes that we need to flip the House of Representatives and make it a Democratic House with a Speaker of the House out of the Democratic Party. So I need your commitment that you're going to get Abel to Austin to represent you and help us flip the House. So again, getting back to why I'm running. I'm running because your voice needs to be heard in Austin, Texas. It hasn't been heard for a long, long time. The chances that I've had to talk to some of you a little bit when I got here is the same thing that the people in South Texas tell me. You politicians come and ask for our vote and then you forget about us. Let me make a commitment to you here and now. You vote for me, I will never forget you, and I will make sure that I will be your voice in Austin, Texas as the next Lieutenant Governor of the state of Texas. So what is it that I'm prepared to do? You need good jobs here. You need an infrastructure that delivers those jobs, not just with a base salary. You need jobs that come with benefits. You need jobs that come with security. You don't need the kind of jobs that Rick Perry and David Dewhurst have created in Texas. There's a Texas Enterprise Fund. That Texas Enterprise Fund is to attract new businesses into Texas. Those new businesses that come and bring jobs here have brought in mostly minimum wage jobs. We are the #1 state in the country with the most minimum wage jobs. Because when we give tax breaks or tax incentives or a tax cut for those for 5 years, that means that we're selling our citizens short. That means that the governor and the lieutenant governor are signing off with these companies who then turn around and give campaign donations to them. Campaign donations to them. And they brought cheap jobs. And people have to work at 2 of them to make ends meet. Bill White needs to be the next governor of the state of Texas. Everyone knows that. We've got to get Rick Perry out of Austin, and you can help me get David Dewhurst out of the state Senate. And let me tell you how you can do that. You can do that very simply. Let's do a sleeper election. You know what a sleeper election is? They don't know you're coming. You could double, triple, quadruple what's here today, and if each one of you commits to getting 4, 5, 6 more people to vote, and telling them why it's important for them to vote, the bottom line is very simple. Unless Bill White is in the governor's seat, unless I'm in the Senate, unless Abel is in the House, things are going to continue to go downhill as they have been for the longest time in Texas. I'm tired of the education system that is cheating our children. I'm tired of the social network and the infrastructure needs not being met for those that need it. Time and time and time again, I have seen the great state that I knew become 48th, 49th, and Rick Perry said, thank God for Mississippi, or else we'd be last. I'm sick and tired of it. The lieutenant governor has the power to set the agenda in the Senate. The lieutenant government has the power to appoint committees. When legislation gets passed in the Senate, the senators and the committees that they serve on, the lieutenant governor sends those bills to specific committees. The lieutenant governor sits on the legislative redistricting board. With us gaining 3 new congressional seats in Texas, what if we don't have any Democrats at the table deciding how those congressional seats are going to be redrawn? If we don't flip the House, we lose. If we don't get the lieutenant governor's seat, we lose. If we don't get the attorney general's seat, we lose. The land commissioner, we lose. The controller is in because there's no opposition. There's 5 people who serve on that legislative redistricting board. We at least need the House. We at least need 3 positions on the legislative redistricting board so we can be represented at the highest levels of government, here or on a national basis. I can't tell you how important it is. Your commitment to be here this afternoon is very well appreciated. Thank you for that commitment. But I want you to get angry. I want you to get mad. I want you to do something about it on November the 2nd. But more importantly, on October the 18th, start getting people to go vote early. Creep up on them. Make it a sleeper election. Knock on the doors. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your friends and say, let's make the change that we need to make in Austin, Texas. And I guarantee you that your voice will be heard. If you'll allow me just a moment, let me just say in Spanish. Es importante para todos nosotros que la voz de la gente trabajadora sea representada en Austin, Texas. Yo sé dos lenguajes, inglés y español, y cuando me hacen enojar, sé tres lenguas. What I just said was, I know how to speak English, I know how to speak Spanish, and don't get me mad or I can speak to you in my third language. It's going to take somebody that's angry and committed, and I thank you, those of you who have already said they're going to vote for me. And I thank you profusely, and I'm grateful. But I don't need just your vote. I need you to go out there, shake the bushes, knock on doors, call your friends, get people out to vote. And that way, you make the changes that need to be made. I'm grateful for your presence here. Know that I will never forget where I come from. I was born and raised in Lorenzo, Texas. I was hoeing cotton at the age of 10, 30 cents an hour, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. The union movement gave me an opportunity, and every step of the way, I became the highest ranking Hispanic, the highest ranking woman in the American labor movement, and served in that position for 12 years. But I have never forgotten my roots. I have never forgotten where I came from, and I came from the same kind of stock that each and every one of you came from. Rest assured, again, I will be your voice. You don't have to come lobby me. You can come visit me, but I know exactly where you come from, and I know exactly where we need to go. Thank you so very, very much. Let's go get them in November.